My husband cheated on me. But the betrayal wasn't the worst part. The worst part was his response when I confronted him. No tears. No guilt. No shame. Just a blank stare, and the words that still echo in my mind. Can't you just forgive me and move on? As if the promises we made, the life we built, and the years I gave him meant nothing. This is the story of how my marriage shattered, and how I found the strength to walk away. When I met Daniel, I thought I'd won the lottery of love. He was charming in the effortless way that made everyone gravitate toward him. The kind of man who made waitresses blush, who could calm a crying baby just by smiling. He wasn't just my husband. He was my best friend, my safe place. We built traditions together. Friday night movie marathons with popcorn and cheap wine. Sunday mornings tangled in bed, talking about dreams we hadn't chased yet. He'd squeeze my hand when we crossed the street, like I was his most precious thing. I believed him when he said, "I'll never hurt you." God, how I clung to those words. It started so subtly that I almost missed it. Late nights at the office. A new password on his phone. A cologne scent that lingered on his shirt, one I didn't recognize. When I asked about it, he chuckled and kissed my forehead. "You're overthinking again. You worry too much." And I wanted to believe him. So I swallowed my doubts, telling myself he was working hard for us. But then came the lies that didn't add up. Traffic was bad when I knew the roads were clear. Drinks with the guys when his best friend swore he hadn't seen him. At night, when he turned away from me in bed, I lay awake wondering, was I losing him? Or had I already lost him? One evening, while folding laundry, his phone buzzed on the dresser. Normally, I'd never touch it. We trusted each other, or at least, I thought we did. But something inside me snapped that night. My hands moved before my brain could stop them. I unlocked it. And there it was. A message that changed everything. "Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about you." The world tilted beneath me. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt crushed under the weight of those words. I scrolled further. There were months of messages. Jokes. Pet names. Promises. Photos that made me sick to my stomach. It wasn't a fling. It was an entire relationship, built in the shadows of mine. When Daniel walked in that night, the house was too quiet. I was sitting at the kitchen table, his phone in front of me, my hands trembling. "Who is she?" I asked. He froze. For a moment, guilt flashed across his face. But just as quickly, it disappeared, replaced with annoyance. "Does it matter?" he said flatly. I couldn't believe it. The man I had loved for over a decade, the man who once cried when I was sick, stood there looking at me like I was an inconvenience. I wanted him to fight for me. I wanted him to beg. I wanted him to care. But instead, he leaned against the counter and shrugged. "Look, I messed up. But people cheat. It happens. Just forgive me and move on." Move on. As if he hadn't just destroyed my entire world. The days that followed were torture. I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. The walls of our home closed in on me like a prison. Everywhere I looked, there were ghosts of us. The couch where we laughed until we cried. The hallway where he twirled me around to music only he could hear. The kitchen where he promised me forever, his hands wrapped around mine. Now all I could see were lies, layered over lies. Friends asked if I was okay, and I lied. I smiled and said, "We are fine." Because how could I explain that the man who swore to protect me was the one who broke me? One morning, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. My eyes were hollow. My smile was gone. And for the first time, I thought, maybe this is what dying while still breathing feels like. Then I heard his voice downstairs, humming, making coffee like nothing happened. And it hit me, he wasn't sorry. He never would be. That was the day I decided. If he could live without guilt, then I could live without him. When I told him I wanted a divorce, he laughed. "You'll regret this," he said. "You can't make it without me." But as the words left his mouth, I felt something shift inside me. For the first time in months, maybe years, I felt free. Walking away wasn't weakness. It was survival. It's been months since that day. Some nights, the silence feels unbearable. Some mornings, the loneliness stings like an open wound. But slowly, I am healing. I've learned that forgiveness doesn't mean pretending the pain never existed. It means letting go of the power it has over you. Daniel wanted me to forgive and forget like nothing happened. But forgetting would mean erasing myself. And I refused to disappear. To anyone listening who has felt the sting of betrayal, you are not weak for loving deeply. You are not foolish for trusting someone who broke your trust. And you are not unworthy because someone else failed to see your worth. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. That was my story. Have you ever been asked to forgive someone who shattered your heart like it was nothing? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences. And remember, heartbreak doesn't end you. Sometimes, it begins a version of you who is stronger, wiser, and unbreakable.